I am so super excited about this. We got Jesus himself coming on the show.
Yes, we do. Jesus Christ.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, man.
Joshua Mikel.
Yes.
Coming back, second time inside the Crazy Ant Farm. And I mean, he's going to be talking about Doom Patrol and the upcoming Respect movie.
Yes.
Freaking about Aretha Franklin.
And politics.
Yeah.
And he gets deep for a little bit.
I know.
So that's exciting.
This dude, there's so many different layers to this individual.
It's
like,
true.
He's such an epic person. Like, if you guys aren't following him on social media, you definitely really should be, because this guy is like, he's everywhere, man. He's everywhere.
And we found out this week in the interview he's a gardener.
You're right?
What?
Exactly.
I mean, he's a gardener. So look for that in the interview.
Exactly. But that's later on the show. Now, let's get a little crazy. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Crazy Ant Farm. Holy moly, we're on episode 124 this week.
Yes, 124.
And man, oh man, we got a lot for you. We definitely do. There's just so much shit. Everybody knows that Disney's been quiet the past couple weeks, but this week, they could not keep their mouth shut.
Oh, man. That quarterly report came out, and then back the moving truck up, get you a storage room, because you're going to need it to put all this shit in.
Hell yeah.
There's a lot of stuff going on.
There is, man. There is. And of course, I mean, like I said, Disney, Warner Media, Netflix, HBO, all these crazy things that we are going to be talking about on episode 124. But your host with the most, myself, J-Lo Fantastic, and the one and only Mouth.
What's up?
And before we get this thing started, be sure to head over to our website, crazyantmedia.com, where you can start rocking the latest and greatest Crazy Ant Media gear. You see the shirts, you see the hats, the official Crazy Ant Media logo shirt, as you see on the YouTube video. If you are listening on podcast platforms, be sure to go back and watch the YouTube video when it drops on Saturdays.
Yes.
But man, oh man, holy shit. Let's get into it, man. I mean, we're taking it back. It seems like they are definitely taking it back to like old school Hollywood, because I mean, we talked about it a little bit with the passing of the Golden Age actress that died last week.
Olivia de Havilland.
Yeah, like they stopped the contracts to certain actors where they could only specifically work for that studio. Well, it might go back to that, guys.
Yeah, because the 71-year, in effect, law. Remember, 1948, Paramount versus the United States. Well, more like United States versus Paramount, right? The antitrust lawsuit that broke up the studio system, because it said you can no longer own the theater chains, you can no longer control where your movies go, who can see them, who can't see them. That is about to be gone. A federal judge has ruled that the decree is no longer legal. It has greenlit the Justice Department to get rid of it. And man, look, I want to read this, make sure I got this, because it was important. The decision that was made, it makes total sense. It says that it was outdated. It says, after 70 years of technological innovation, new competitors, and business models, and shifting consumer demand, they fundamentally changed the industry. So these decree laws made no sense anymore. The judge went on to further say that the studios that were bound by the decrees, RKO, MGM, Warner Brothers, Paramount, and Fox, they don't even exist anymore.
Yeah.
So how can, Disney didn't have their own distribution deal at that point back in that day. Now they're a major player, and they were still bound by this. And then she pointed out, and rightfully so, Netflix, Amazon, Apple, and all the other streamers, they weren't subject to the decree law. So it was an unfair advantage.
Yeah.
The studios couldn't distribute however they wanted, wherever they wanted, whenever they wanted, but the streamers could. So all that went into saying, this isn't fair anymore, this isn't right anymore, we're getting rid of it. What does that mean? One, it's good news for the theaters in the sense that they're all dying right now with the pandemic. They're all bankrupt, and they're all barely... Now these studios can come in and buy significant chunks of these theaters and save them monetarily.
Yeah.
But, as Logan just said, does this mean now also that they can start controlling what... AMC, you can't see our movies, but
Right.
Regal, you can see our movies. And will they start doing that again? Will they say these theaters can see it, these theaters can, or it can only play here?
Right, where like Disney literally has control over, say, Regal, or like fucking Warner Media has control over AMC. Like, that is just absolutely insane. And then I go back to the first look deals that we talk about literally every single week. With these first look deals, like, would they literally be signed to just the one studio?
Exactly.
Like, that's insane to me.
So, but we have talked about this all the time. We have said over and over and over again that with these mergers happening and the consolidation, that it was really going to go back down to 5 majors.
Yeah, here it goes.
This is what we talk about in the industry news every week, the 5 majors. Disney, Sony, Warner Media, NBC Universal, and Paramount.
Yeah.
That's your 5 majors, guys. Now they're all conglomerate owned at this point, except for Disney, which is a conglomerate.
Right.
But there it is. So, I mean, I just feel like since they've consolidated back, we're almost back into the golden age of the 5 biggies. You have your minors, but you have the 5 majors.
Well, you know what it is? It's the golden age of streaming. That's what it is.
And it's forced,
crazy.
It's forced the return of the golden age of Hollywood.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to me, but
yeah, absolutely bonkers, man. Absolutely bonkers. But now going over to the Mouse House. You guys know we love them. We love them. But, I mean, of course, like everyone else during the pandemic, they also took a beating. Like, their annual report, like, was absolutely insane. I mean, park delays. I mean, everybody knows the parks were shut down, and the delayed release of its films set major setbacks to the company. Revenues fell 40% to $11.7 billion. That's still a lot of money. But, I mean, the quarterly share decreased by 94%.
Yeah, huge.
Yeah.
Huge. They lost nearly $5 billion. They still turned a little bit of a revenue profit because they were able to write a bunch of stuff off. They knew this pandemic, when it started early, they were going to have to charge off a bunch of stuff.
Definitely.
So that crafty accounting that a lot of the studios do, they were able to see an 8-cent profit, right? But the $5 billion that they lost, here's the crazy part about it, okay? With all the stuff that Logan just mentioned, $3 billion of the $5 billion loss was the parks.
Yeah,
the parks being
sense.
Shut down because, guys, you know, you got all the TV, you got the movies, you got the store, you know, merchandising and all that kind of stuff in there. But those parks generate a shit ton of money. So when they were closed, bam, right?
I mean, it's absolutely insane, guys. It's absolutely insane. But, I mean, as we see that, I mean, while everybody's stuck inside, the streaming is the way to go, and their fucking Disney Plus numbers are fucking insane, guys. They are now over 60.5 million paying subscribers. And what was this? This was supposed to be like, they didn't
2024.
Yeah, they didn't think they would even reach this until 2024. That's insane.
They got it in 9 months.
Yeah.
And if you add in Hulu and ESPN, they're over 100 million subscribers all of their streaming stuff. Dude. But the 5 Netflix, look out, because they're fucking storming, dude. They hit their 5-year goal in 9 months. Yeah,
so I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy, and I mean, with the streaming service being so alive, and like a lot of films having setbacks, a lot of them are going to streamers. Now, we heard Bob Chapek say they don't want this to be a normal occurrence, but they are doing it with Mulan. I mean, I'm sure everyone has seen this past week on social media. They are going forth and putting Mulan on Disney Plus. We were calling that shit for the past month. It will premiere September 4th, but get this, guys, it's behind a paywall of $29.99. It's super crazy. And I don't know, man. I don't think that's right.
No, you would have to pay more for the movie than you do for the entire service.
Yeah,
that's insane. We ran a poll and like 80+% said nope, not going to pay for it. So there's also a lot of misinformation out there, and we want to bring you the truth because that's what we're about. Black Widow is not going to the streamer, guys. It is not happening. Not yet. There was
not yet.
all kinds of news coming out of there that Chapek said it. He did not say that.
Just Mulan.
He said Mulan would be a one-shot deal, and they would see how it does, but that they prefer the theatrical release, and that Black Widow was absolutely not being planned other than its November theatrical release.
But I think it's going to be hard to judge it off this one just because of the massive paywall. Even other films that are being released VOD, movie, like The Invisible Man and like the Scooby movie and all that, I mean, it's still $20. I feel like is comparable because, I mean, think about it. That's 2 movie tickets. So that's fine if you sit down and watch it with a family. But $30, I feel like that's asking a little much.
Yeah,
in my opinion, I feel like a lot of people are thinking this way. So.
And I get it because, look, it was a $200 million
they have
budget.
to make their money
They have
somehow.
to make the money.
Yeah.
So I get the high price, but you're not gonna you're gonna go in the red on this film
no matter
anyway.
what. Yeah.
So I wouldn't do. Man, I don't know. It's kind of scary.
Something I don't agree with, but something I do agree with is they finally released a date for The Mandalorian to come out. It's coming out in October, not a specific date, but season 2 is coming out, and we're supposed to get a teaser trailer soon, or at least a full length trailer.
Yeah. So
I'm
that's
super excited.
I mean, super pumped because Star Wars is the only thing right now, and Hamilton. Yeah. Obviously, Hamilton.
Of course.
That's the only thing pumping right now, you know, because the MCU stuff, unfortunately, Chapek again said all 3 of the shows are still going to be delayed. They're not going to make their dates because why? COVID shut them all down, and all 3 of them still have to film stuff. They're not even done filming yet. So he did confirm that all 3 still have stuff to film before they can debut.
I'm pretty worried about the Marvel shows, to be honest with you. I know like they're going forth still with all the movies and everything, but those are still also barely in production. We'll talk about it a little bit later, but they got some news on Shang-Chi, and that's kind of the only one right now.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just, he did say, though, the footage that from all these shows is epic, apparently.
That's good.
There's also a rumor, it hasn't been confirmed, and we don't like to do rumors, but it looks really good because the source is very reliable, that Alison Brie has indeed signed on to play She-Hulk.
Yeah.
If that's true, that's going to be epic because I think that was the front runner from the get-go.
Yeah.
So, you know, we'll keep our eyes on that.
Yeah, very exciting. I'm really excited about this next one because they keep going with the female directors for this specific superhero. Nina DaCosta, who recently directed the reboot of Candyman, has been tapped to direct Marvel's sequel to Captain Marvel. And I think that's a huge, huge thing, especially with diversity and putting women first, because we have a whole bunch of talented women out there. So definitely for freaking superhero movies, that is star is a female, like put a female in the forefront.
Absolutely. And talk about straight up diversity. Not only are you putting in a female director, but an African-American female director. It's literally history making by Marvel. She will be the first African-American female director in place on a size of this magnitude film. And well deserved. Good for you, Marvel. And, you know, making strides, making moves. Remember, Iger had to fight to even get Captain Marvel made, the first one. So they're just kicking ass and doing it, and couldn't be more happy for that.
Well, like I said a few minutes ago, we were talking about Shang-Chi. They have returned to Australia, and production should begin shooting again within the next couple days, which hopefully was this past week. So I'm really excited about that because this guy is only like straight up kung fu karate, right? Like no superpowers or anything.
That is correct.
So I'm pumped because there's not, I mean, you got like Falcon and Iron Man who don't really have superpowers, but I feel like we need more people like that because, I mean, even though the superpowered people are badass like Thor and fucking everybody like that, but I mean, these people I feel like are more relatable because they don't have superpowers and they're using what they're working with.
Yeah, and Shang-Chi is the master of kung fu. I mean, he goes toe-to-toe with the powered people, including Iron Fist.
Yeah.
You know, him and Iron Fist go toe-to-toe, and Iron Fist has got the Iron Fist.
Exactly.
I mean, so you know.
Exactly. But, I mean, Disney delayed the film's release from February 21st as the 2 Marvel movies preceding were shuffled back on schedule. But, I mean, well, hopefully soon, man. Hopefully soon. I have high hopes for it.
I mean, I just don't understand Black Widow. It's finished. It's in the can. It's done. If everything opens on time like it's supposed to in a couple of weeks, you know, all the theaters do open and there's not a lot of issues, fucking throw that shit out there.
We'll see. Yeah.
I mean, I hope anyway.
Yeah, I mean, the NBA players have seen it. Let us see it.
Exactly.
God damn it. Oh, but this next one, I could definitely see Tom Hanks playing this guy. He's in early negotiations to play Geppetto.
Yes.
And Disney's live-action retelling of Pinocchio.
Yeah, remember, this was been rumored to be going on forever, guys.
Yeah.
They tried a few years ago, and Hanks was actually attached to it, but it never went through. It kind of fell apart. They lost the director, and just so the deal never went through with Hanks. Now Robert Zemeckis is on it. It's steamrolling. It's going. Hanks read the script and apparently reached out to Zemeckis and
Yeah.
said, I want to do this. And it seems like a no-brainer since Disney tried to reach out to him the first time.
Yeah, exactly.
I would assume that this is going to all work. So
I really hope so because everybody knows Tom Hanks is America's dad. So,
It's true.
I mean, just say it. Just say
it's true.
it.
Not that other guy that's in prison.
No, yeah, exactly. Not that guy. This next one, it's interesting. It's very interesting to see how this is all going to play out. But Kim Raver, Camila Leddington, and Kevin McKidd, whose contracts were all up at the end of last season of Grey's Anatomy, all signed new multi-year contracts.
That's the key.
Yeah, multi-year. Even like further than Ellen Pompeo's contract.
Yeah, it's all Ellen ends next season, guys. And supposedly that would have been the end of the show, right? Because can you do Grey's without Ellen?
Grey? Yeah.
And Karen Burke, the president of ABC Entertainment, is always saying, as long as Ellen wants to do it, it's kind of like the supernatural stuff at CW. As long as she wants to do it, we'll do it.
Yeah.
But I don't think she wants to do it anymore. So what does it mean that these three signed 3-year contracts past Ellen?
Yeah. It's really scary to me. I really hope they don't, fucking stomp this thing into the ground for all that it's worth. Shonda, please be listening and just have a nice finale. Just have a nice finale. We don't need this. We don't need it to be a soap opera. Obviously, it's a nighttime soap opera anyway, but we don't need it to be 30 years deep like The Young and the Restless or Young and Hungry or whatever, blah,
I mean, yeah, you've already broken the record for longest running primetime medical drama.
Yeah.
You're never going to catch Law and Order. Okay? That's not, because they're just going to keep going as long as you keep going. And now that Stabler's coming back, no, I agree with you. Just end it the right way. How many times have we seen shows linger for too long and the ending is just not what you wanted, right?
Yeah, it's super sad, man. Super sad. But The Good Doctor over still at OBC has halted its production ramp up in Vancouver, British Columbia due to concerns about COVID-19 testing to the cast and crew. Yeah, I mean, see what happens now, man. I mean, a whole bunch of different unions are behind this, seeing if they want to move forward, but I don't know.
Yeah, apparently there were some limitations with these 3 giant union divisions of how often they could test.
Yeah.
And the production company and ABC and everybody wanted to test more often than these unions were allowing them to test. And they just didn't feel safe, so shut it down.
I feel like a lot of things are going to be like that, though. They're going to try to dabble in it a little bit, stick their feet out, test the waters, and it's still bad.
Yeah,
it's still bad.
Still bad.
American Idol is resuming Idol Across America tour auditions, but get this, guys, it's going to be completely Zoom technology, like everything else. But now this is going to be the first time that American Idol will literally be able to hit all 50 states. Everybody knows they stop in the biggest states in the country, which makes sense because there's a lot of people there. But now you could literally FaceTime the show producer and audition and get through the process and possibly be on American Idol.
Yeah, that virtual bus is going everywhere.
Seriously.
So, I mean, that's a good thing. You will, like Logan said, be able to FaceTime with an actual producer and even get in at some point FaceTime with the judges.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're missing out on that in-person experience or whatever. So, I mean, I think it's going to be interesting. We'll see how that all plays out.
If any of our listeners want auditions are Monday. So reach out, try to figure that shit out.
Yeah, and no matter where the audition dates are, like before when you were limited to the dates in the cities, now if there's an audition Monday, you can audition.
Exactly.
If there's another one on such and such and it's not in your region, you can audition.
Exactly.
So it's going to be great.
Hell yeah. Oh, Sigourney Weaver has signed to narrate the Secrets of the Whales, a 4-part event series for Nat Geo. James Cameron is on board to executive director or whatever for service, executive producer. The series chronicles of the way of life
Avatar.
of the whales. It's set to premiere globally on Nat Geo on Earth Day, which is April 22nd of 2021, in 172 countries and 43 different languages.
He wants to live underwater, I think.
He does.
He just seems like that every project that has to involve water, he's on.
Right.
We get it.
I know, right?
We get it.
But now heading over to the Lifetime Network. Oh, shit. They plan on releasing and airing 30 new movies during its annual It's a Wonderful Lifetime block that is touting some diversity of epic lineups, including a story about a Chinese-American family, one starring a disabled actress, and Yeah, just a whole bunch of like LBTGQ experiences. Like, so that's really awesome.
Yeah, and this is in direct response to Hallmark.
Yeah.
Because remember, we talked about it on
Makes
last
sense.
week's show. Bill Abbott just quietly out of there with the whole debacle of showing the commercial with a gay couple and then taking it off and then putting it back on and all this kind of. Well, Lifetime is going to make that jump. They're going to, for the first time, have a gay couple star in a holiday movie, a Christmas movie. And we talked about too, they've got a new president at Hallmark, and she was on it about diversity and changing and putting it out there.
Yeah.
Well, Lifetime's trying to beat them to the punch.
It makes sense. I feel like those two are mainly the competitors against each other. I mean,
definitely.
Of course, the streamers dabble in a little bit of that shit, but nothing like these two. So
Exactly.
It makes sense. It makes sense. And also, Regina Hall and Bobby Cannavale has joined the cast of Hulu's tentpole limited series, 9 Perfect Strangers. They finally got all 9 of them.
Yes, Bobby makes 9. This show it said every week we're adding a new person, but they've got all 9.
There
so hopefully next week we don't talk about 9 strangers.
I mean, you never know. You never know.
I mean, maybe.
Oh, this really sucks because this was on my must-watch list. I mean, myself and Little Cam started a list of things we wanted to watch on different streamers, and apparently we might not watch this one.
No, you should still totally watch it. Even if it's not going to go forward, you should totally still watch it.
But we're talking about Hulu opted to cancel High Fidelity after one critically appraised season.
It's insane.
Yeah.
I'm so pissed. Hulu, you reached out to me and asked if you could use my tweet to promote the show, and then you're canceling it on me.
Canceled it.
Yeah. In Zoe Kravitz's words, I'm not ready. I'm not okay. This is fucked. I'm just saying, this was a really good show with a diverse cast and a great storyline, and it was just, it needed to keep going.
Yeah.
Done.
It's crazy.
80-something, almost 90% on Rotten Tomatoes from the critics and the fans. How do you cancel a show like that?
Insane. But now Selena Gomez has signed on to star and executive produce alongside Steve Martin and Martin Short in the upcoming Hulu comedy series Only Murderers in the Building.
Yeah.
We talked about this a little bit.
Yeah, so this came out of nowhere. At no point when we were talking about this show a couple of months ago did I ever think they would add Selena Gomez to the cast.
Right.
You remember this one? It's about the 2 little detectives, but they never leave their building.
Yeah.
They only investigate murders that happen in the building.
Yeah.
Well, now Selena Gomez is going to be part of that cast.
Makes sense.
Is she a detective? Is she a murderer? Is she a victim? We don't know. But
oh my goodness. More Hulu news. Elle Fanning is attached to star in Hulu's The Girl from Plainville, based on the real life case of Michelle Carter, who was infamously convicted of involuntary manslaughter in 2017 after texting her boyfriend, encouraging him to commit suicide. This is a fucking dark premise and like a dark story. So this is going to be crazy.
Is this what you canceled High Fidelity for?
I hope not.
I'm just saying. I mean, I could have done without this story. I saw it all on the news. High Fidelity. Just bring it back.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Bring it back.
I love Elle Fanning. Don't get me wrong. But I don't know.
Yeah, right. It's insane. Well, other things that are insane and that are insane in the membrane that make everybody mad. Warner Media, HBO Max's planned unscripted Friends reunion. Everybody was joshing for it, really excited. Well, now, I mean, it's being delayed once again because of fucking Corona.
Yeah. Look. The friends are terrified to get in a room together as far as COVID is happening. They're not going to wear masks. They're not going to do shit. They ain't getting in a room until this shit's over. Apparently. But, I mean, when you're the friends...
Yeah. You can do whatever you want.
You can do whatever you want. I mean, they don't want to be at risk, and rightfully so. So I mean,
exactly.
Plus, do you want to see a Friends reunion show with them all wearing masks and shit? No. You want it to be in that Central Park, because I'm sure that's where the setting is going to be, and kind of just have them all normal, right?
For sure.
I mean,
For sure. Oh, my goodness. This lady has been all over our industry news the past couple weeks.
Yes.
Issa Rae is set to executive produce a 2-part documentary for HBO exploring the history of Black television called Seen and Heard. It will look at the issue through the eyes of those who wrote, produced, and created and starred in great groundbreaking series in the present and the past.
Yeah, Diane Carroll, I bet. I mean, they're one of the first African American leads in a television show back in the day. I mean, I hope that they explore that and go into that. But this sounds really interesting to me because when you look at the span from the 1960s on, you know, as far as black television goes, it was sporadic at best until just recent.
Exactly.
So this is going to be really interesting.
Yeah, I agree, man. I agree, and maybe they can get some behind the scenes, in depth like conversation about that, like maybe why that was happening, and maybe I don't know. I feel like it's a very good educational piece because I feel like a lot of people just kind of unintentionally don't think about things like that.
It's true.
So I think this is going to be good for America.
The Duplass brothers.
It's also good for America. Give Mark Duplass a fucking Emmy for the morning show.
Right? But these guys are not afraid of jumping into controversial, weird shit.
They're really
right?
not.
They just attack it. Well, this next one is really weird. They have set their latest HBO project, The Lady and the Dale. This is going to be a documentary about the 1970s auto scam that centered around a mysterious entrepreneur, Elizabeth Carmichael. She rose to prominence when she released a fuel-efficient three-wheeled vehicle during the 1970s gas wars and gas crisis. I remember those, and it was not fun.
Yeah.
But there were questions about old Carmichael there. Apparently she was born a man. Dean Carmichael was a criminal wanted for grand theft, fraud, and being involved with a Colombian drug ring. So,
holy shit.
Yeah, she's one of the first high-profile, like, celebrity transgenders, if you will, transgenders, and so this will be an interesting
How do you
story.
come across shit like this?
That's what I'm saying. The Duplass brothers, they just jump in, man.
That's wild. I mean, kudos to that. That's some deep digging. Like, holy shit. I'm intrigued.
Deep digging.
I am intrigued. And more HBO, Warner Media, all that good shit. The CW will team with Women in Film Los Angeles to televise the organization's star-filled Make It Work variety show on August 26th. The show touts a lineup of influential women in the film industry and television industry worlds that is like Alison Brie, Bernie Finnstild, Alfred
Woodard?
Yes.
Rosario Dawson, Jane Fonda, Jennifer Garner, Elizabeth Giles, Kathryn Hahn, Cheryl Hines, and a shit ton of others.
So many, like, women who paved the way, basically.
Yeah, and it's going to be a variety show. They're going to feature musical and comedy sketches and celebrity testimonials and everything. This is the first actual variety fundraiser type event ever on the CW.
Yeah.
So it's making history that way. But good. Women in film, women in television, they need to be recognized. It should have been recognized a long time ago.
Exactly.
Kudos for the CW for doing it. And that sounds like it's going to be really fun.
Exactly. Playing catch up, but at least you're doing it.
That's right.
Viacom CBS, they cannot get out of fucking legal trouble, man, to save their damn lives.
No.
The Late Show with Stephen Colbert's music producer, Giovanni Canici.
There you go.
Hey, thank you. Has been let go from the show after a woman accused him of sexual misconduct back in 2010. Musician Paige Stark has alleged that the incident took place was at work at a lookout management company where he was employed from 2002 to 2014, and he has expressed interest in her band, and the two met at the music marathon at a conference in 2010, and apparently made advances while they were alone in an elevator.
Yeah, and look, I know we talk about this all the time. This allegedly happened in 2010.
Yeah.
Just now coming out. We can't say whether it's true or not true. He denies it. She says it's true, kind of a thing. The one thing we know for sure, this seems to be the culture at CBS.
Right.
What the fuck? We thought once Moonves was gone, this shit was supposed to be over,
Apparently
right?
not.
Viacom is taking control now. It's all one big happy company, right? No. Why the fuck every week are we talking about some sexual misconduct at CBS? It's ridiculous, y'all.
It's quite frustrating, to be honest, because for people, up-and-comers, trying to make their way in, especially being males, I feel like we might be looked at a certain certain way, like, oh, be careful, just because of the gender. But it shouldn't. I don't know. It's just a crazy situation.
It is crazy. And then the other legal things that he was talking about, Judge Judy is getting sued, and CBS is getting sued from the company that had the television rights, or that was supposed to share in the television rights with Judge Judy, and they're going after them because apparently Old Wes sold the library of all the past shows to Judge Judy for like a ridiculously low amount of money, and then realized he fucked up. And then knew he was going to get in trouble from the board. And so he bought it back from her for like some insane amount of money.
Oh, shit.
Like $900 million or something, $200 million. Some crazy, insane number to which she made a shit ton of money. Well, the people that were supposed to share in the profit didn't get any of that. So they're suing. And then fucking Alan Dershowitz is suing them, or threatening to sue them, because they called him a Schneister on The Good Fight.
Just a lot of shit, man. A lot of shit.
Come on, Viacom, get your shit together.
They really cannot fucking stay out of trouble. But I mean, this is pretty cool.
Comedy
Central, a branch off. It has greenlit a new Ren and Stimpy series.
Yes.
Details are slim. Nobody really knows a lot about it, but they have planned to hire a new creative team for an update, which will be reimagined for the new generation.
Yeah, don't go too crazy, because Ren and Stimpy were perfect the way they were. Don't reimagine them too crazy. I mean, I need my Ren and Stimpy. You idiot! They could be back to talk about Les Moonves. You idiot! I mean, I'm just saying. Exactly. I'm excited for Ren and Stimpy, though.
Yeah.
You know me. We don't get very excited about reboots, revivals, etc. But I like Ren and Stimpy.
Yeah, I mean, but heading over to NBC Universal, they're in a bad spot. They're in a bad spot. They have confirmed, Jeff Shell, who is their CEO, has confirmed that layoffs have begun at the company as a plan of restructuring designed emphasis on its new streaming platform, the Peacock. And the theme park unit has been mostly directly affected. So
yeah, that's crazy.
That sucks.
I mean, laying off a bunch of people already because of COVID, and now they're laying off even more people at the theme park
because they're reimagining shit. Like,
we're gonna focus on streamers. We got to cut costs.
But
See you
also,
later.
It's fucking crazy. It's fucking crazy. But even more crazy, I don't know why Warner Media just didn't try to buy the overall rights to this franchise, because it would have made much more sense. A lot of people are pissed that a lot of shit is coming off of HBO Max now. But the 8-film Harry Potter franchise will start streaming on the Peacock starting in October. The company says that it will be available in the windows, and meaning that it will come on and off the platform over the next 6 months and into 2021.
Yeah.
I hate when they do this shit. It's exactly like how Amazon Prime is. Amazon Prime and AMC are doing the fucking Mad Men.
Yeah.
It's exactly that shit. That's really fucking annoying.
Well, and it's because of a stupid contract that HBO or Warner Brothers signed with NBC Universal back in 2016.
Yeah.
That gave them the exclusive rights. Apparently, they worked out like a little window a contract so that they could have it when HBO Max debuted, but it was for a limited time, and then it went straight back to the 2016 deal. So that's...
Well, I mean, I'm sure you saw also fucking the Christopher Nolan Batman franchise is coming off there as well.
Yeah,
so,
it's insane, man. They wanted to have it all pumped up so everybody would sign up, and then all the shit's leaving.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that makes no sense.
Exactly. Oh, man, one of Hollywood's golden boys right now, Ryan Reynolds, is set to star in Universal Pictures' Everyday Parenting Tips, a family comedy that will be helmed from Pageant director Paul King. The project hails from Phil Lord and Chris Miller. The film will see Ryan Reynolds play a dad dealing with everyday challenges of a family raising kids made of all most difficult by an ongoing great monster uprising.
Oh.
Yeah, uprising.
This is hilarious. So it's going to be directed by the Paddington Bear guy.
Yeah.
And the Lego Movie guys, are going to be the producers behind it.
Yeah.
With Ryan Reynolds. All of that just screams to me epically hilarious.
Exactly.
That's going to be good. That's going to be good.
Hell yeah. Oh, I'm excited about this next one because King James has been doing a lot of shit since making the move out to LA. But Universal Pictures has acquired the rights to New Kid, the 2019 graphic novel by Jerry Kraft, with LeBron James Spring Hill Entertainment on board to develop and produce. The graphic novel was highly popular by several other buyers, or entertained by several other buyers, but Spring Hill Spring Hill has been so touched by the story and aggressively went after it, and so now they have partnered with Universal Pictures to make this thing happen.
He is, I mean, the king for sure. He is taking over Hollywood. I mean, this guy is on it. Oh, Sony. They want to dance with somebody. This one, we told you about several months ago that they were going to do a biopic film about Whitney Houston, which you know is going to be huge because all the Rocket Man and Bohemian Rhapsody and all, they're all doing mega right now, right? So you take probably the biggest singer in our generation prior to her death, Whitney Houston, it's going to be a big film. Well, Sony got it. Sony got it in a heated auction with 6 other film streamers and studios that wanted it, but Sony got it. And like we said, we told you back in April, Clive Davis has signed on to this. The Whitney Houston family has signed on to it. So this is big news, man. Yeah. I think it's going to be a huge movie, and good for Sony for getting it.
Yeah, I mean, the biopics are really fucking popular right now, so it makes sense, man. It makes sense. I'm excited. I'm really excited, especially who they cast to play Whitney Houston.
It's going to be very interesting. Alicia Wainwright. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. This next one, I'm so freaking excited about because, I was a huge fan of the original show. Who's the Boss is coming back.
Yeah, buddy.
Yes, but it's a revival, not a reboot. It's going to take place kind of like the Fuller House thing. Yeah. Samantha is now a single mother living on her own in the old house that they lived in when she was growing up. Judith Light, not attached to star in it, just Tony and Alyssa Milano. So why are they in the house? I don't understand, because that was Angela's house, not Tony's house, and they never did get married. And it's going to be confusing, but it's all awesome because they're coming back. Exactly. I can't believe I didn't remember this. The original show, 33 million viewers per episode for its 8-year run, and 10 Emmy nominations and 5 Golden Globes. But put that in perspective. Nowadays, if you get 5 or 7 million, you're a huge hit.
Right.
33 million per episode.
Yeah.
Boy, have times changed, right? That's pre-streamers.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, that's pre-streamers.
Exactly.
You didn't have, other places to go. You had to tune in. So,
yeah. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. But this next one is crazy. MGM, I think this is a counter to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Bradley Cooper is in talks to appear in Paul Thomas Anderson's film Next Venture, which is being described as a coming-of-age story set in the 1970s San Fernando Valley. No word yet on what role Cooper will play, but, I mean, everybody loves picture pics. Fuck it. Picture pics. Period pieces.
Yes, period pieces and picture pics.
Yeah.
I love those.
Not dick pics, though.
Yeah. Focus Features didn't love it, though. They got rid of it. That's why it's at MGM now. So I don't know what that move was, but
Exactly.
This next one. Excited about Who's the Boss. Not excited about this one. And I'm going to go on record right now because we predict things, right? We do these things. I'm just going to go on record right now. The fans will kill this. It will never happen. They stopped it the first time. They're going to stop it this time. That's my prediction. Lionsgate CEO John Feigenheimer has confirmed the worst kept secret in Hollywood that Jennifer Grey, baby, baby, she's not in the corner, but they're doing a new Dirty Dancing movie, and she is involved. She will be executive producing and starring in it. No.
It shouldn't happen.
It shouldn't happen.
When you realize that they for sure waited for Patrick Swayze to pass,
how shitty is that? Because he wouldn't do it. He wouldn't do it. The fans don't want it. That's why they did Dirty Dancing Havana Nights, because they didn't want the other spinoff. The other, I don't think they're gonna want it this time. I like Jennifer Grey, but baby's now granny. She's like 60-something years old. What?
Yeah.
Just don't do this, Lionsgate.
Man.
Don't do it.
Well, they're doing other questionable things as well. They saw that Corona is infecting everybody, but so they decided to push back John Wick 4 back a year, honestly, and they've also decided to come out with a 5th one as well.
Oh, and they're going to shoot them back to back.
Yeah.
That's the big thing now. Shoot them all back to back. So,
it's insane, man. It's insane, but now it's supposed to open Memorial Day weekend in 2022.
Yeah.
Damn.
So that's been pushed back an entire year.
Exactly.
I just don't even. Speaking of pushbacks, Antebellum, it was pushed back. Remember we talked about it on the show last week? Well, now it's just not happening.
Right.
It's not going to theaters, guys. They've decided to release it straight into streaming, premiered on Premium Video on Demand on September 18th. So if you were looking forward to Janelle Monáe's movie in the theaters, it's not happening.
No.
Antebellum, straight to streamers.
It makes sense. It makes sense, man, because that's just that's the landscape right now. That's
does.
the landscape. And also, for all you Stars Power fans, everybody knows that Power Book 2 Ghost is also coming out. It's supposed to be like a prequel or whatever, or a spinoff. It's set to premiere September 6th, so I hope everybody's excited about that. I'm super pumped about this because A24 is the big indie film market right now, our indie film studio.
Yeah.
And Emma Stone and writer and director Dave McCrae have launched their Fruit Tree film and television production banner that is going to partner with the A24 for a 2-year first look deal.
Yeah, it totally makes sense because A24 was behind La La Land.
Yeah.
So they're real familiar with Emma and what she can do and what she can bring.
Exactly.
And so totally makes sense. And yeah, I'm a huge fan like you of Emma. I just think she's brilliant.
Yeah.
And this is a smart move by A24. There's no doubt about it.
I agree, man. I agree. And I mean, also other big freaking things happening in Hollywood. New Republic Pictures has signed Jake Gyllenhaal and Riva Marker's 9 Stories to a first look production deal. This is the second deal that they have made in recent weeks. So yeah, congratulations to them.
Yeah, what we talked about it. I don't know. I think last month, right? Kate Blanchett, she was the first one. So yeah, I mean, good for them making some moves. They got to keep up with A24.
That's what it is. That's what it is. I mean, now. I don't know why this is happening.
I don't know either.
I don't know why.
I don't know. And why is the person that's doing it? I don't know. Because Aquaman was so massive, you don't need to do this. It's okay. Spyglass Media, they're developing a Knight Rider movie. Feature film. Not a television movie. A Knight Rider, David Hasselhoff, the Hoff Knight Rider feature film. And James Wan is attached to it.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
Doesn't make sense.
Why? You tried this numerous times. It didn't work. It doesn't work. The last time it was on TV, they had an updated car. Val Kilmer was Kit.
Yeah.
First of all, never do it without William Daniels.
Yeah,
if you're
right.
not going to have William Daniels voice Kit, don't even do it.
Exactly.
Don't even try it. I just think this is a bad move.
I think it's stupid. I think it's really stupid. I don't understand why this needs to happen. We need to stop with the reboots, guys. Stop with the reboots. Find new material. Heading over to Netflix now. They have just acquired a Disney-owned 20th Century Studios film, The Woman in the Window.
Yes.
It's going to be leaving the Mouse House and is heading to Netflix. The streamer is finalizing its acquisition of the film, and they're trying to make this one an event film, and it's a thriller that stars Amy Adams and is directed by Joe Wright. No word yet on when this will be released, but I like how they're doing these, though. Event films.
Yeah, event film. And this one was hotly contested as well. Dozens of people wanted this one. Netflix looks like they're going to get it. And, you know, Netflix and Disney aren't normally really friendly. So the idea of Netflix, Disney agreeing to sell this to Netflix is mind-boggling to a lot of the other people that wanted it. So,
yeah, it's crazy.
And Amy Adams ain't done.
No.
That one for Netflix, and her and Adam McKay are teaming up for a Netflix limited series called Kings of America. Apparently, it's going to tell the story of 3 powerful women who were inextricably intertwined in the world's largest company, a Walmart heiress, a Maverick executive, and a longtime Walmart saleswoman and preacher who filed the biggest class action lawsuit in history. That's what it's going to be about.
Damn.
Yeah.
It's insane.
True story.
Yeah.
So it's going to be epic.
Hell yeah.
Amy Adams.
I mean, she's everywhere, man. And Netflix, it loves the limited series, so it makes sense.
It's true.
Netflix is also adapting a podcast, which is a huge thing right now. Amazon does it a lot.
Yep.
It's called 36 Questions into a feature film. The plot details are being kept under wraps, and the sources say it's a romantic drama set in a music world based on hits of the podcast. I mean, you know, it's gonna be a great thing. It's gonna be a great thing.
I mean, I'll be honest, and maybe I mean, I'm gonna take some slack. I've never heard of 36 Questions.
Nor have I.
So I've never heard of the podcast. So I'm gonna go and listen to it and see what it's all about because I'm curious how they're gonna make a movie out of it.
Exactly. Well, this next one comes by no surprise. Heading over to Amazon and Amazon Prime. Amazon Studios has renewed Hunters for a second season. I mean, that A-list cast and fucking, there's like so many people that are talking about this one.
It's true. I mean, it's a brilliant show. If you guys haven't watched it yet, do yourself a favor. Get on there, watch it. You're going to be like enthralled from the first episode on. I'm telling you, it's great.
I agree.
This next one, I'm not so sure about. We talked about this way back, like a year ago when they first talked about doing it. And now apparently it's a go. Amazon Studios has picked up the series A League of Their Own from co-creators Abby Jacobson, and it's gonna she's also gonna star, and Will Graham.
Yeah, make it an hour-long series. I'm not okay with this one either.
No, and here's why I'm definitely not okay with it. It's gonna be a reimagining of the movie of Penny Marshall's class. Penny Marshall, that was brilliant. It was Tom Hanks and Gina Davis, Madonna, all of them, Lori Petty. It was perfect.
Yeah.
It was perfect. You shouldn't reimagine shit. It was perfect the way it was. No.
I know.
There will be crying in baseball with this because I don't think it's going to be good.
Yeah, I'm crying right now because this is happening. But Amazon also struck a first look deal with Lizzo. This is not her first time working in film and television, though. She has starred in a feature film. Everybody saw J-Lo's Hustlers and voiced a character in Ugly Dolls. So, I mean, but this is her first major move with her company and herself.
And in television, right? Because it's all been film work in the past, right? Yeah. So, yeah, interesting. Go Lizzo.
Right? Had no idea.
No.
Had no idea.
This next one makes sense because they got the most money.
Yeah,
they're the biggest company in the world now. By the way, they passed up Amazon. I don't know if they're still there, but they passed up Amazon. Apple has signed a first look television deal with Appian Way. Why does that sound familiar? Because we talk about it all the time. It's Leo's company. Leonardo DiCaprio has signed a deal with Apple.
Yes, I love it. I think it makes sense because a lot of filmmakers, they're getting their money from Apple, so it just makes sense.
It does make sense.
Yeah, and I mean, speaking of other filmmakers, Apple has given a straight-to-series order to a drama series from Robert Downey Jr. and Susan Downey's team. I'm really not surprised.
Team Downey, man.
Yeah,
they're
seriously.
everywhere. I mean, let's be honest. RDJ and Susan are kicking ass.
Yeah,
they are literally They've got one on HBO. They're working with Apple. They're working with Disney. They're working. I mean, just everybody.
Exactly.
Everybody. It's crazy.
And I mean, it's going to follow like a frustrated Canadian detective who takes a decade-old case and hopes of finding a winning confession and becoming a superhero, becoming a hero in the midst of all of it. So I'm excited. I'm excited. I mean, a lot of good content, especially a lot of good drama heading to Apple. So
it's true.
Killing it.
I got to be honest. I've never heard of Vertical Entertainment. But I'm excited about this project, okay? Vertical Entertainment has apparently landed the distribution rights to Tyler Norwood's documentary called Robin's Wish. And it's a feature that chronicles Robin Williams' final days and for the first time is going to focus on his fight against his neurological disease and his dementia and his depression. And it's going to kind of deep dive into all of that. So I'm excited about that.
I think that'll be good to start a conversation like we were talking about with this array. That'll be really good to start a conversation about mental health, especially if you are someone in the limelight or someone who is very popular among who you hang around with. But what are you hiding behind closed doors?
Right.
So I feel like that's a good conversation starter.
Because he was genuinely always smiling. Always seemed like he was the happiest guy on earth, and clearly not.
Exactly.
And so, this is...
I agree.
This next one.
I don't know why he thought this was a smart decision. I love The Rock. He's a fucking great dude, great businessman, but this motherfucker bought the XFL with his business partner and ex-wife. I don't know why. Why would you do this? Why you saw Vince McMahon fail countless times and you decided to be like, oh, fuck it, I'm going to do it. I mean, I don't understand.
I don't either. $15 million.
Yeah.
They bought to put this in perspective, they bought the entire league for $15 million. One team in the NFL is worth $5.5 billion. They bought the entire league for $15 million.
Yeah.
That should tell you everything you need to know. This is a bad idea. The Rock is very bankable. He's a very big star. He's got a lot of money. They're very smart people. Him and his ex-wife are just brilliant people. They seem to be everything touch and turn into gold. this I don't think is going to work.
I know, man. When I saw this, I was like, why, Dwayne? Why? But
I mean, everybody has to have a misfire, right?
I guess, man. I guess. But this next one is definitely not a misfire because Ryan Reynolds is everywhere right now. Like,
yes.
He's been throughout our industry news, but he has launched a group effort initiative to a self-financed diversity and inclusion program that aims to give people of color a chance to work and learn on the actor's production. So that's amazing. The program will run through his production banner, Maximum Efforts.
Yeah, and this is really cool. He's going to take basically 10 or 20 people from these underprivileged and underdeveloped communities, people of color and poor people, and just, and bring them onto the set and put them in positions. And he's going to pay them out of his own salary, not the film, his own salary, and they're going to get the opportunity to learn in these positions and work on a film and then maybe have a career in the film industry. I think this is a brilliant move. I also think, too, Ryan Reynolds is like one of those connected guys and always challenging. Chris Evans has already signed on, but there's dozens of other celebrities who are now going to join this initiative and do it on their films as well.
Yeah.
So I think this is brilliant.
Yeah, I just absolutely love what he's doing with everything that he's got going on in his life. He's epic, man. He's epic. But now, heading over to another epic individual, Joshua Mikel, coming on to talk about Doom Patrol, RESPCT, and, I mean, just so much more. Just such an educated individual, especially since being a Atlanta-based actor, we had to talk about the Heartbeat Bill, and what was that going to do if productions and studios pulled out of Atlanta? That would have left a lot of people.
And he had a really deep thought process on this and what it means to his community, because one of the big shows shoots in his hometown, where he was born and raised. You guys are gonna love this one, man.
Yeah, I agree. The up and comers definitely gonna love this one. He's definitely a big fish in a small pond. Well, here he is.
Joshua Mikel, welcome back inside the Crazy Ant Farm, man. How are you?
Oh, man, it's crazy here inside the Crazy Ant Farm, my dude.
That's
always, man. Wouldn't be fun if it wasn't.
All's well.
Dude, we have a whole bunch to talk to you about because since the last time you came on, you've been a very busy fella.
That's true.
Oh, thanks.
Not a problem.
When was the last time? How much? I don't know what.
It was probably maybe a year and a half ago.
Yeah,
it was right after The Dirt came out.
Yep.
That's crazy,
dude.
I guess a handful of things. Yeah, had some good stuff.
Just little things here and there. I mean, literally popping up on everything we watch.
Exactly.
Makes us very prideful to have you on our show again and to have you on for the first initial time. But I mean, the first thing we want to talk to you about today, personally, is the 5 States of Fright, just because, this is a Quibi series, correct? So how did the filming for that go?
Yeah, or 50 States of Fright, yeah, because it's about the United States. So I guess the idea was that they're going to do one for every state. Mm-hmm. It was great. It was a cool thing. I worked with, or a couple of directors worked with before on a film called Intruders. Mm-hmm. Brian Netto and Adam Schindler, which really lovely dudes, and we shot that in Vancouver, and it's a really, really cool series produced by Sam Raimi, and they got some really talented young directors. My buddy Ryan Spindell, who I work with down at Florida State, I did his thesis film. He had awesome. a segment in it. Yeah, it was cool as hell. He has a segment. I don't know if you guys have seen the whole thing, but his is the Bigfoot segment, and ours is Minnesota. So his was Washington State, I think.
Yeah.
From a production standpoint, though, what's that like? Because it's short form. So how is that in the shooting? I mean, is it a tight schedule? Is it quick? Or is it pretty similar to when you're shooting a regular series? Or how does that work since it's all done short form?
Yeah, we kind of shot it just like a normal episodic. So it was, I think I was up there maybe, I think they only had 4 or 5 days to shoot this thing.
Oh, wow.
And that was part of their challenge in writing this stuff, is that it all had to kind of take place in one setting, and they found a great setting. There's a farm and a couple of houses they could use all within a certain, a pretty close kind of area there up in Vancouver. And so they were economic with how they handled the shooting, but it it took place. We shot it over Halloween, and it was just like one episode.
But yeah, I mean, it sounds really exciting, and it was very interesting to see because, like you said, I guess they for an editing standpoint, they just break it up between acts for the certain episodes, like, because each one of these episodes is like roughly 7 or 8 minutes. So yeah, it's really interesting to hear how it all came about and how it all like fit together. I love it though.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a cool idea, and I hope it finds life.
I think it really got boned by COVID and a number of other factors. You can't stream it to your TV, so that was one of the bigger complaints about Quibi. But you know, it was ideally built for folks that are on long train rides or whatever, or you know, just have a break, you know, quick lunch break or whatever, and can pull up something and watch 7 minutes or something. But interesting idea. Unfortunately, I don't think it's doing too great.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, though, we talk about it all the time. There's so much good content on there, though, or so much good content that still hasn't arrived yet. I hope it finds another platform to show up on, because some of this stuff is ingenious. So I hope it lives on somewhere else after Quibi's demise, right?
Right. And 50 States of Fright, I think some of those directors have already started working on new scripts for the thing, and
see, there you go.
You know, it could be hopefully it'll find a home somewhere else.
Yep. Yeah.
If not Quibi, if Quibi doesn't find a second life.
That's right. I hope so, man. I was very hopeful at the beginning of it, but yeah, I mean, since like they kind of kept like the same content around. I mean, they release stuff every once in a while, but yeah, I hope it, because it's a very interesting concept, like you said. Like if you're especially if you're waiting at like the DMV, or if you're waiting like in line somewhere, like, you know, shit can get boring, and like if you have a little like 7-minute episode to watch, that's epic. So
that's what's up. And I heard that Die Hard show, the Kevin Hart, John Travolta show, is really great.
That's what I heard.
A number of shows on there are great.
Exactly. So.
But another one we also wanted to talk to you about, because our buddy James Dumont came on the show to promote this one as well, is Righteous Gemstones. This one is absolutely taken off on HBO, man.
Yeah, that was a dream to be a part of.
Hell yeah. I mean, what was it like freaking working with all those amazing cast members? I mean, the legend himself, John Goodman, and then Danny McBride, hilarious guy in himself. So what was that like?
Yeah, you know, it's strange to say, but it was a dream come true.
Yeah.
I had long loved Danny McBride's comedy, even though it was a bit mean spirited. Some of the when growing up in the South, you kind of realize how much your comedic tastes are influenced by Danny McBride,
right?
And his character in Eastbound, his characters in Vice Principals, and Walt Goggins, and it's just but the cast itself, the Gemstones cast, is, you take those and you multiply it by 10, because everybody on that thing is Edie Patterson, who's such a standout on that show, and Tony Cavallero, who plays Keith. Just an amazing assembly of really talented comedic actors. So like it felt like a rite of passage. I had really wanted to get an audition for, I think I had maybe 1 or 2 auditions for Eastbound and Down. I understood the comedy, but I never got any reads for Vice Principals. I don't think they had a lot of stuff available to outside actors on that.
Right.
But this one, I was so lucky to land and have kind of a dream role. It like playing this goth raver. It just Die Dallas. I always say Die Dallas. People said Daedalus.
Yes.
And I think that's what how Keith pronounces it. But it was ridiculous. And the set pieces, I don't know if you guys have watched through it, but the set pieces we get to operate in, we're just some of the coolest. They have this big rave, and it was a abandoned power factory.
No shit.
In Charleston, South Carolina. But that crew in particular, Danny McBride and Jody Hill, the folks that are there's a lot of the writers and dudes running sound, dudes operating camera. They all went to school together at University of the Arts. No, North Carolina School of the Arts.
There it is. There you go.
There you go. And they all kind of grew up making stuff together. Understood each other's idiosyncrasies a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
And Danny McBride went off to LA for a while, and then decided he wanted to make films in his home, where he wanted to live, and with the folks he started making stuff with. And I think it's just such a cool model. Those guys have so much respect for each other, and what they produce is.
And you can tell, when you get that group of people together that have worked together before and are like a tight-knit kind of family and stuff, that shows through in the projects, man, no doubt.
Totally. There's not a lot of, sometimes you can get a sense of producers having disagreements and stuff.
Right.
And I'm sure they have their disagreements or they fight for certain things, but you don't sense that. It's just such a positive set to be on. And there was one bit working through stuff, and Dan McBride and Jody Hill come over, and they're both just kind of really crazy supportive.
Hell yeah.
But to make those dudes laugh in a take is like it's a one I'll remember for a good long while.
Oh yeah,
definitely. Yeah. Definitely. And I mean, dude, like, I'm just absolutely excited because we're huge fans of Doom Patrol right now. And it's honestly one of the most strangest, newest type of content that is definitely out there for the viewers to watch right now. And I mean, just going through your IMDb, I mean, that's the Bible of the industry.
Totally.
To see that you're about to pop up, man, I'm super freaking pumped. I can't wait to see what your role is.
And I mean, talk about another crazy, insanely talented cast, right?
Totally. Yeah, it's really, really wild. That and that thing that shoots in my hometown of Conyers, Georgia. So,
oh, nice.
Yeah, it was strange because I'd drive to that exit. I'd go visit my mom. Even through this pandemic, we found a way to hang out. And
hell yeah.
So I make it out there a couple times a week, at least once a week. But it was funny driving to work and go taking that same route, and like literally 3 miles from the house I grew up.
Nice.
I love that.
Yeah.
But
it is a talented team of folks, and I'm happy it moved to HBO Max, where it's going to I think it has found a lot more eyes and a lot more buzz around this second season.
And you're familiar with DC because Black Lightning also. You're a fair rounded guy. You're like show up on Doom Patrol, show up on Black Lightning. Seem to have found a home in the DC universe.
Totally. Well, the good thing about comic book stuff is there's tons of bad guys involved.
Hell
there's
yeah.
always some villains, so
that's
it. Always play some dirtbags.
So you're saying we could see you on Stargirl soon? Okay, all right. No, I mean that'd be great, man. They shoot that in Atlanta, right?
Oh yeah, they do. Speaking of which, have y'all spoken to Mark Ashworth?
We have.
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right, good. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, oh man, Google's talking.
Fucking Google, bro. Like
Google apparently doesn't understand.
She does not.
No, she does not understand.
We got Alexa, bro. We understand. We got Alexa.
Yeah. All right, cool. Yeah, we're all being spied on.
Right.
That's it, man. That's it.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, man. But turning a little bit away from your film career and what you got coming up and stuff like that. But I mean, being Atlanta based, were you worried about the heartbeat bill and what that was going to do to the entertainment industry in Atlanta? Because I mean, a lot of threats were being made by the huge studios saying that they were going to be pulled out of Atlanta. So were you worried about that?
Absolutely. And rightly so. I mean, if you can't trust the leadership of a state to be to be sound on what folks consider human rights,
right?
Absolutely.
How do you expect people to? As a studio, how do you expect people to come and work in that state if you can't protect them? So it's frustrating, and I had been following it pretty seriously, especially around when it was going down. But it sucks because there's people who it really affects is the folks who can't afford to pick up and move to another state.
Yeah, that's it.
A lot of folks have built their lives around the industry here, and you're kind of throwing the baby out with the bathwater a little bit when you put these, when folks make these demands and full production companies are moving, and rightly so. So you understand it. It's just, unfortunately, there's plenty of folks who don't have that luxury of being able to pick up and move. They've started families and bought homes and, put real roots down, and that sort of insecurity in the market, in the business, I can't imagine really made a lot of folks happy at the top. You saw Netflix move to New Mexico.
Yeah.
Yep.
I had a friend that was coming, my friends Sam and Erica, who wrote a Netflix show called The Healing Powers of Dude.
Mm-hmm.
They were coming here and they were asking me, I potentially lost work from it. And I know a lot of us lost work that we don't even know about, but they were coming here and they had been talking to me about, we're going to find a spot for you in this season. And, we're excited. And it was weeks before they opened up their office here.
Wow.
Maybe the week they were supposed to come and open up their office that heartbeat bill, progressed.
Yep.
And they decided to move to Canada. They moved the whole production to Canada. So yeah, it was a stressful time, and it still is. We have kind of, obviously, Governor Kemp, the guy behind that whole thing, is now one of the biggest idiots going as far as COVID response.
Yeah, agreed.
So we're in an unfortunate spot, but fortunately, there's been an influx of reasonable people into the state and into Atlanta because of the industry. So there's a much larger voting base and folks who are passionate about making sure that thing didn't pass. Everybody, sorry to harp on this, but I'm particularly long-winded this morning.
No, you're good, man.
Yeah, folks kind of talked about it like it was kabuki theater. It was something to enlighten his base or energize his base rather, and but really they knew that the Supreme Court was going to strike it down. But still, that's an anxious period to be operating in.
Oh, definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it was a mess.
Well, and now, I mean, hopefully after dodging that bullet, because now they still got that shit rumbling through the legislation about capping the incentives and kind of crushing the industry that way. Hopefully that doesn't happen. I mean, like you said, there's a lot of smart people that have kind of influxed in there in the voting block, and hopefully, they realize you cap that incentive, and we saw what it did in Louisiana when they did that, and I mean, that would be a disaster for Georgia.
Yeah, every year. I mean, I see it in my hometown, like Vampire Diaries shot there, Doom Patrol.
Yep.
With the originals, all of the Julie Plex stuff. So, Black Lightning shot not far from there and used some of Conyers. There's a lot of stuff that shoots out there, and you can see the change that happens in a community when that sort of money makes it there. And
definitely.
How attractive it is that you're that you suddenly have a new economic resource, and that's across the state. Like there's obviously Sonoya, driving down to Sonoya where Walking Dead shoots. I think there was something like 40 storefronts before Walking Dead started. There was 40 storefronts along their main street, and I think it was something like maybe 10 or 12 that had actual stores in them. And now there's not an empty space there. I don't know post-COVID, but it was amazing the change that happened just in Sonoya alone, and the tourism that people. I have a friend that operates a tourism company here. They do movie tours.
Oh, nice.
And Atlanta movie tours. They're fun. It's a cool thing because a lot of times they'll have actors and stuff along on the tours. They're changing their model obviously in post-COVID era,
right.
But these sorts of industries that pop up and employ lots of folks and bring excitement and tourism to the state, it's invaluable. The state's buoyed by so much of this
absolutely
economic impact of the film industry.
Exactly. Well, I think this is really going to be eye-opening because, like that this podcast is for the up-and-comers trying to break into the entertainment industry, and this will educate them on how parallel the entertainment industry is with politics right now. Because, I mean, you need to stay up to date with certain bills that definitely affect the entertainment industry and things that people just stand for in general. Because, I mean, like I said, they are so intertwined and connected that it's very important to stay up to date and educate yourself on and formulate opinions on these certain topics.
Well, and a good example of that is the SAG-AFTRA vote. So intertwined, it's insane.
Yeah, it's unreal. There's a lot of stuff going on, and you can't help but be a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah, right.
So like I had to really do some research before I voted on that SAG-AFTRA bill. I was like, well, you're hearing a lot of stuff, a lot of resistance, and I haven't actually done my research. All right, so I'm going to sit down and do it, and I'll vote accordingly. And I voted no, but it apparently there's a substantial deduction in residuals, which residual income, if you're an actor and have had some work, your residual income is, especially during this time where we're all out of work and the film business looks like it's one of the last to maybe get back into working mode. Residual income is super important and super helpful. And one of the wonderful things about working in this business is you have these huge gaps of non-work. For some folks, it can be years, but they're at least they have some residual income coming in, some passive income that they can count on.
Exactly. But I love that, though, because you educated yourself before you made that vote. Not Dustin and I talk about this all the time off air. People make comments or they do certain actions before they even educate themselves. So I love having you on, bro, because you're such an educated individual and want to learn more about what you are putting your 2 cents into or what you are voting for. So that's great to hear.
Yeah, because I always feel like, whichever way you vote, and not just away from the SAG-AFTRA and even just in regular politics, I feel like I can respect you and support you as long as you've educated yourself and you're making your decision informed.
Exactly.
Whether I agree with your decision or not, if you informed yourself and you have educated yourself and you are making that decision based on fact, then I have to support you. I have to respect that. So, and yeah, we love to hear that because, like Logan said, there's so many people out there that they listen to the talking points or read the quick headline and then make a decision, and it's like, how can you possibly do that?
Yeah, it's just such I think we do have these lighthouses of folks that we trust their opinion. They say one thing, you vote accordingly. And
right.
For folks that don't have time or energy to do their due diligence and research, that you at least find a diversified portfolio of folks that you trust. If you do the reading, you try and do your research, and you can't understand completely what the issues are, well, take a sample of who do you trust and what are their opinions on it.
Right.
And that's even better. That's more informed.
Exactly.
Definitely.
But it's not just going to one person. It's not just going to Sean King's Twitter. It's going to, making sure you know a lot of, you're going to many places.
See, and that's why we respect you so much, man. And so now we can't leave the biggie you got coming up off, right? We got to talk about respect.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's incredible. I think it's going to be a amazing movie, and it was definitely one of the best experiences of my acting career. Working with Liesl Tommy, and I'm playing Roger Hawkins, who is he's a legendary Muscle Shoals drummer. I'm nowhere near as good as him. I hope that doesn't show on the screen. But I met an incredible group of dudes who were the Muscle Shoals band. We're still buds, and we're on a text thread and play D&D with a couple of them.
That's epic.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, it was one of the best experiences I had had, and so by being in this Muscle Shoals band, there were entire days where we're just sitting around, like I'm sitting around behind a drum kit, miming the drum play and listening to Jennifer Hudson sing a cappella.
Oh.
So it was just an amazing couple of weeks on that.
Right, you're getting paid for a free concert, basically.
Yeah, man, that's fantastic.
Yeah, there were so many times where I would look around the room. So Jennifer Hudson's there, and Mark Maron's playing Jerry Wexler, who was a record label exec, and you have Marlon Wayans.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
It was in the actual talent, musical talent involved, and the costuming talent and the hair talent, and I think it's going to be a really fantastic film. They've slated it for an award season.
Smart move.
Opening. Yeah, we'll see. It was funny. There were times where I'd walk over and talk to Jennifer Hudson during takes and stuff, and just amazing how much she embodied Aretha Franklin. And
I just keep always thinking, like, if I were to walk up to her, I'd be like, Simon Cowell. Like, you remember Simon Cowell said he didn't think she was good enough to win American Idol. He just, maybe this wasn't the right place for her. And I'm thinking, Oscar gold now, all these phenomenal hit records. I'm like, Simon, right. She just wasn't there, right.
Well, it's funny because I got onto the Jennifer Hudson train after working this film, but I didn't really know, and I hadn't seen Dreamgirls. I hadn't seen a lot of Jennifer Hudson's work. But then being able to work with her on this particular thing, it's, I'm a fan.
Definite.
Yeah.
I'm super excited for this thing to come out too. Especially, I mean, of course, to see her performance, and of course to see your performance, bro. Because
thanks, man.
I mean, like I said at the beginning of the interview, freaking the more and more things we watch, the more and more times we see you pop up. So it's just awesome to see, man.
And a huge credit to your acting skill, my friend, because I mean, the list of credits that these are phenomenal projects with large fan bases and like you said, award potential. and you're in them, man, and that has everything to do with what you're bringing to the table, friend.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate you.
Of course, of course. And I mean, we know from your first interview that you dabble a little bit in the directing realm. Can you see yourself directing again? Do you see anything like that in the near future or in the future in general?
I've been thinking about it a lot more, actually. I have a couple plays that I've been meaning to convert to screenplays, and
nice.
one is, I have one that it only requires 3 cast members, more or less, and I think the screenplay would maybe have a handful more, but it's contained. It all takes place in a bomb shelter, so it's pretty.
Oh wow!
No, that doesn't sound intense contained.
At all. And it's I've been kicking around the idea of directing that, and then I started playing with a new band.
Nice.
And so we're all film dudes. 2 of the guys are prop guys that worked on Doom Patrol, and I met my buddy Todd on Walking Dead.
There you go.
And just really good dudes. So, we're all filmmakers, and we all have ideas about how we're going to do our music videos. So I think we're going to have probably a rotating hat.
Hell yeah.
All right, well, you do this one, I'll get the next one. I'll help you production design this one. You do your,
Well, that'll be fun, though. That'll be really fun.
It'll be slick.
But man, what we like to do at the end of each interview is have our guests leave a little piece of advice for people trying to break into the industry. And what pitfalls would you say to try to avoid? Because I can only imagine a guy like yourself working so much, you learn something new every day.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what my last piece of advice was, but what I've realized more and more during this COVID thing is, how much my life had become about acting. And at the end of the day, I never wanted I don't want my tombstone to be like, here lies Josh Mikel, an actor. Like that's the last thing. Like the actors I meet by and large are the least interesting people you meet on set. A lot of times I get uncomfortable talking to actors and actor stuff. I don't know. I just don't. It's a lot of vainglory. It's like, because I'm feeling those same feelings. So like all the same insecurities. It's just like, ugh, we're all sitting in shitty diapers,
Right. Yeah.
And it's like, oh, is your diaper shitty? It's like, yeah, my diaper's shitty. But when when you diversify your interests, you see it kind of as COVID has been going on, that as these quarantines have been continuing, that actors who are just about acting are just kind of losing their minds a bit.
Hell yeah.
You see these weird 3 a.m. selfie sessions and whatever, especially like after the Black Lives Matter blackouts and stuff. And there are real serious issues going on.
Definitely.
And these folks who have made their Instagrams and their social media and, their social presence all about acting, suddenly are having to change gears, and that it's such a severe change that they're just like, I don't know what to do. Maybe I'll just post a picture of myself with a quote from Maya Angelou or something. And it's like, you're just losing sense of self. You're just just be less plastic. So what I've realized, long story short, is the more stuff you do, the more interest you have, the stuff you care about outside of the acting world only makes you a better actor, because you have those things to draw upon. You're learning about something else. And, I hope I can maintain this balance of normal life, when the business gets back to usual.
Absolutely.
So
Definitely.
do something else. Have another interest other than acting.
Yeah. I mean, it was very much like a pitfall and a piece of advice, because it's basically like stepping outside your comfort zone, trying new things, and if you stay inside your comfort zone, then you're going to be the same old person.
Exactly.
But dude, freaking, I love that. That's so good, because I mean, a whole bunch of people are just so tunnel vision focused that they just stay on their path and don't even like turn to see the flowers on the side or some shit like that. So you just need to check out the flowers every once in a while, man.
Check out the flowers, and you'll have this contingency of folks who will support you through every selfie you post, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Especially if you're an actor. So I started to notice, okay, I having done Walking Dead, and the fan base is so intense,
right?
And wonderful people, that you start getting a bit jaded because you post Walking Dead related stuff, and you're suddenly getting a return on your investment that you have. When you post Walking Dead stuff, you're seeing a substantial amount of people respond. But then when you post a normal everyday something, I like to garden, so I post some garden stuff, and it's like it gets fractions of the attention, and you're like, well, you just have to fight through that.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's desire. So important, because we always talk about that when we bring new people into the company, like interns or people that are going to be working for us and everything, and they understand that they might run across some celebrities or actors and different people in the industry. And the first thing we always say is, just remember, they're just people. They're just like us. They live normal lives. They like to do normal things. And so while they might have a presence, they are, like you said, in the garden doing some gardening, or they are, in the kitchen making some lunch or something. They're just normal people. So I love the fact that you're grounded in that and in that reality, and understand that this is my job, but I'm also just a guy, who likes to do stuff. So that's so good, man.
Yeah, some people, I think, with their social media presence, they kind of, they share themselves into a corner where everything becomes about acting, so they don't feel like they can share their personal lives, or not that you want to share all your personal shit, but they can't share stuff that actually matters to them, because it's all like, well, the only thing my fan base responds to is another picture of my face.
Right. It's almost like they feel like it's another marketing tool, where it's like, I have to do this so I can use it to further promote myself or what project I'm coming on. When all social media, I feel like, is supposed to be like show self-expression, like supposed to be like to tell the people who you really are.
Totally. That's it. Yeah. Exactly. And just be interesting. Don't, whatever. I see. Then you see, like, it's wild. I don't know. It's just such a weird world to navigate.
It is
the social media world, and like I feel like I do myself a disservice, to be honest, with my social media, because I'm not a folks perceive me as a villain. You build this type acting wise, and then basically everything that I do otherwise is the antithesis of that.
Yeah, exactly.
And clearly, one of the nicest guys we've ever talked to, bro. I mean, it's like, you see you, and again, just goes to show how great an actor you are, because you come off like crazy good as all these villains, but he's like, no, he's in the garden, man. He's a gardener.
Exactly.
He's like a nice guy.
Got that great thumb.
It's like, well, am I talking myself out of a job? Am I becoming less interesting because people know this side of my life?
Right.
Like, I'm not sure.
Yeah, it like you said, it's a super crazy world that we live in right now, and it's all a balancing. I feel like you gotta try to balance that pendulum a little bit and see what happens.
That's it.
One thing for sure, dude, the next time we're in the Atlanta area, we got to hook up and have a drink. Cause you're like one of the coolest dudes ever, man. I can totally see just hanging out with you, having a drink, and enjoying a night, man.
That sounds like a plan.
Dude,
drinks on me.
Hey,
you are the working actor. I'm just saying.
We'll see if this SAG. Well, it depends. It's contingent on if this SAG.
That's right.
This new SAG contract.
We won't hold the drinks on you. If this thing doesn't happen and the residuals dry up, dude, we got you.
We got you.
All right, sounds great. Appreciate y'all.
Of course,
it's good to have friends like you guys.
That's right.
Of course, we're always here for you, brother. Like we said, anytime you ever want to come back on the show to either promote something or just come on, shoot the shit. I mean, as I'm sure you know, we have an industry news segment. We just talk all about the industry news for the past week, and I mean, you're just an epic dude, man. So we would love to have you on as a guest host sometime.
Absolutely.
We love it.
Fantastic. Well, listen, man, you have a good rest of the day, and thank you again for taking a little time out of your day to come and get a little crazy with us.
Y'all too. Thank you.
Appreciate you, brother. We'll be talking to you soon.
Sounds great. Later, dudes.
See ya.
Right. Bye, dude.
That guy, I just love when he comes on, and definitely you can see, even in the interview process, like the growth that he's had since the last time that we talked to him. Because the first time he was a little nervous, and I mean now he's like just skyrocketed. I mean he's on like every hot project right now, so it's always fun talking.
You definitely see the confidence level rising as the projects get bigger, and kind of. But I think he's seen so much success because he's just so real.
He is.
He's got to be one of the most grounded people we've ever talked to, where he just says, hey, this is life. This is how it's going. And I love the fact, like you said, this is an educated guy.
This
is an informed guy. He's on top of making decisions the right way and not the wrong way. And I think that also plays heavily into the success that he's seen,
and I think one of my favorite parts about the interview is when he said, if you don't have time, because life can get in the way, and we all know that. Life can get in the way to where you don't have time to do the research. But go to someone who's very like-minded that you trust and get their opinions on it if they've had time to do the research, and like do it that way, because we understand that life can get a little crazy. You can't read through a whole bill, or you can't read through a whole article or anything, but still somewhat educate yourself before making a decision.
That's right.
But man, I just thank you again, Joshua Mikel, for coming on the show. Alrighty, now it is time for the top 5 segment.
Yes.
Oh man, the top 5 this week is brought to you by our podcast producer Jason, who's just been rocking and rolling, definitely throwing out some new ideas. Man, this one, I had to go digging for this shit.
I mean, this was crazy. I mean, I knew one right off the bat that I wanted to put on there, but then the rest of them, I was like, man, there's so many.
Yeah.
How do you choose?
Exactly. Top 5 cop thrillers. Like, not buddy cop movies, cop thrillers. Some nice, juicy, dramatic dialogue. Like, it was intense.
It was intense.
But, I mean, we got some good picks. My number 5 goes to SWAT, with Samuel Jackson, LL Cool J, fucking Colin Farrell, like, so many good actors and such a good storyline. And plus, I'm not sure a lot of people know, James Dumont.
Yes.
James Dumont is in SWAT, so be sure to go back and fucking, like, watch this one. It's such an epic story. Like, I really like this movie.
Agreed. And I bet he knows the theme song too.
I bet he does.
That we should be doing. We had a lot of feedback on that. Maybe we'll do that one next time.
Right.
Mine, number 5 is Black Klansman. We've talked about this movie multiple times on the show. We think it's absolutely brilliant. Everybody, Topher Grace, everybody involved in that thing was just epic, and the surprise, a thriller all the way around. Like, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Spike is a genius, and just, if you haven't seen this film, you should.
Yeah.
Do it.
It's
I can't
such a
say
good
enough
movie.
about it.
Such a good movie. And Denzel Washington's son. Washington's son.
Yeah, David Washington, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so good. My number 4 goes to Black Mass. We're talking about Whitey Bulger. I love gangster flicks, especially when it has to do with, like, New York or Boston, anywhere up east. Like, just so fucking good. But, I mean, you throw in Johnny Depp, and, like, this guy was just recently caught, like, less than 10 years ago. He was on the run for like years and years, but such a good movie, especially, I mean, like I said, Johnny Depp, you got Benedict Cumberbatch, like, such a good cast. You got Dakota Johnson and Joel Edgerton. I mean, there's so many fucking good epic people in this movie, and such a good dramatic performance by everyone involved.
Totally agree. My number 4, Patriots Day.
You
remember that one? That's about Mark Wahlberg, the Boston police officer that tracked down after the bombing at the marathon.
Yeah.
Man, this movie did a brilliant job, because, as you guys know, we come from a news background and everything, and we were involved in carrying this story and following this story live on TV as it was happening and everything, and it was intense when they found this guy finally in the backyard in the boat. Remember, he was hiding in the boat, and he was worried about getting shot, and like all the shit that went down. I think Wahlberg and the gang behind this movie did a brilliant job of capturing that intensity, and even though you kind of knew what was going to happen, you didn't know what was going to happen in the movie. So just a brilliant movie. I really, really liked it. Patriots Day.
Same, man. Freaking same. My number 3 goes to American Gangster. Freaking Russell Crowe, Denzel Washington. About Frank Lucas, heroin fucking drug lord in Harlem, New York. So, I mean, fucking example of what I just said about Black Mass.
Yep.
But these two, they were just fucking phenomenal in these characters. Like, it's so good, especially the back and forth. They, like, because even though, like, Russell Crowe's character is trying to apprehend and, like, get Denzel Washington's character, like, in jail, obviously, but they play back and forth so well during the scenes that they have together. So it was really good.
Totally agree. Wow, boy, this is a good list.
Yeah,
this is a really good list. All right, my number 3. I don't know if a lot of people have heard of this one because it kind of came out in a time with, I guess, huge, bigger movies, and so it was kind of overlooked a little bit, I think. Prisoners.
Yeah.
This is a fantastic movie with Hugh Jackman, Jake Gyllenhaal, Viola Davis, Terrence Howard, Paul Dano. It's basically about this child that gets kidnapped, and they're on the hunt for them. And like Jackman goes insane trying to hunt down and find this kid, and Paul Dano is
it's like his kid, right? And his
kid,
and then he finds like the guy who he thinks did it.
Yeah,
and then
Paul Dano's character
tortures him and shit.
Yeah, crazy ass Paul Dano in this film, man. A just brilliant performance by him. Creepy ass van and like all the kind of shit. Viola Davis and Terrence Howard are fantastic in it as well.
Yeah.
Definitely, if you haven't seen it, check it out. It's a really good movie.
Yeah, man.
And you'll be surprised. It's definitely got a twist.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. My number 2 goes to Four Brothers. Freaking Tyrese Gibson, Andre 3000 from Outkast.
Yes.
I mean, fucking Mark Wahlberg and Terrence Howard.
Yep.
Like, Cookie. Fucking, what's her face?
Taraji P.
Taraji
Yeah.
Henson. Like, there's so many epic fucking people in this one as well, especially like when they're all adopted brothers and they come back to try to kind of solve their mother's murder. And like the way they do it, it was just insane, absolutely insane. Like one of my favorite movies of all time, to be honest with you. Four Brothers.
I would agree. It's one of mine as well, and a real, I mean, thrill ride from start to finish. Honestly, another one of those where it's twists and turns and you don't know what's coming.
Definitely.
So, but we got a theme: Mark Wahlberg and the Washingtons, and
right? Like
Terrence Howard. We got a little theme going. It's all right. It's okay. And we're gonna keep with that theme. My number 2 is Training Day with Denzel Washington and Ethan Hawke. Holy shit!
Definitely a good one.
Man, if you haven't seen this film, you should definitely be seeing this film.
Right.
All right, I think we all know Denzel Washington as a badass crooked cop. Who doesn't want to see that?
Right.
That's all I'm saying. Poor Ethan Hawke stood no chance.
I know.
No
fucking
chance.
Drugging him like he gave him spice and shit or some PCP and fucking King Kong ain't got nothing on me. Like, yeah, fucking
it's
great
crazy.
movie.
It's a brilliant movie. Yeah, definitely high on the list.
Definitely. My number 1, of course, it's a Leonardo DiCaprio film, and Mark Wahlberg, and Matt Damon, and Martin Sheen, like, and fucking Jack Nicholson.
Yeah.
Like, this movie is star-packed.
That's funny that you had, because that's two black masses.
Yeah.
You know, Johnny Depp and Jack Nicholson played the same character, Whitey Bulger there, you know, so that's interesting.
Jack Nicholson played Frank Costello.
I thought he played Whitey.
He did not. Yeah, I know. Gotcha.
What?
Boom. Fact check.
Oh,
fact check.
Man.
Yeah, fucking fact check. But, yeah,
Who
The
played
Departed.
him? Who played Whitey?
Nobody played Whitey in that film. It wasn't about Whitey.
Wasn't it based on? Because I swear I remember reading something that it was based on
It might have been based
Whitey.
on, but, I mean, that wasn't his character's name yet.
All right.
Which was weird because there was a real-life gangster who ran with Lucky Luciano, who was Frank Costello in New York. So, I mean, and this was set in Boston. So, yeah, it's weird. It's all weird.
You're the gangster guy, though, so I wholeheartedly trust you on this.
But
so
The Departed, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Matt Damon, this is definitely a thrill ride because you're kind of trying to keep up because you have a kid who grew up in a gangster society who became an informant for the gangsters in law enforcement, and then you got this undercover cop who becomes a gangster with the gangsters, like trying to fucking just, it's a lot to keep up with, but it's so damn good, and especially when Leonardo DiCaprio's character and Matt Damon's character finally figures out who each other is, like, it's absolutely brilliant.
And, I mean, one of the best things I love about that movie, too, is that line they deliver, because I feel like it's so true, even if you go all the way back to The Untouchables with, you know, Kevin Costner and stuff, about coming up in those type neighborhoods, in those type families, you only had two choices. You were a gangster or a cop.
Yeah, exactly.
You were on one side or the other, and that's how your life was going to play out. And I really love how they address that. Yeah. It's like, it's so good.
And, I mean, how parallel their upbringings were, like, because they literally, one of them could have went either way.
Exactly.
So, such a good movie. Martin Scorsese.
Yes, of course. I mean, just knows how to tell a story.
He does.
That's Scorsese.
Yeah.
I like that. My number 1. What's in the fucking box, man?
It's in the fucking box!
What's in the box? It's Gwyneth Paltrow's head, Brad. It's Gwyneth Paltrow's head. Spoiler, 7.
Yeah.
7 is my number 1 all-time favorite cop thriller.
Good one.
I mean, you never knew what was coming in that movie, right? It was all over the place. Morgan Freeman, Brad Pitt, Gwyneth Paltrow, Kevin Spacey. This movie was insane.
Yeah.
The 7 sins, man. The 7 deadly sins. And it was like some of the most disgusting shit.
Yeah.
That pound of flesh and the gluttony and like the... Ugh.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just nasty. But and Spacey was just like, uncredited.
Really?
Uncredited,
wow.
yeah. Yeah, it was insane. I guess part of they didn't want you to know who the bad guy was. You remember they kind of kept him secret the whole time until you finally saw his face or whatever, and so they felt like, I guess if they gave Spacey away that you would know.
Right.
So that, uncredited, the whole was not in the premiere. Was not in the trailers. Just like everything kind of hidden around that whole thing. So
crazy,
very interesting, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, and Brad Pitt really broke his hand. So when he's wearing that cast in it, he broke that on set. Had to wear the cast. So
he's so good.
He's that good.
He's so good.
He's that good.
Oh my goodness. But great top 5 segment. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you. Be sure to like the video, subscribe, do all that fun stuff that's on YouTube. And like we said at the top of the show, if you are listening to the podcast on podcast platforms, please go back and watch the video on YouTube. But
yes,
great top 5. Great top 5.
Definitely.
Now it is time for the box office recap. We got some classics that re-entered the top 10. Oh, we got a top 10 this week.
10. Huh? There were actually 10 movies that made money this week.
Like shit.
What?
The Rental, no idea what that one is.
Yep.
318,000. Number 2 is The Goonies, though, with 115,000. One of my all-time favorites. Number 3 is Jurassic Park. Definitely a changer of the entertainment landscape, especially with technology and everything like that. That came in with 117,000. Back to the Future came in at number 4 with 107,000. Number 5 was The Big Ugly with 105,000. Number 6 was Grease Lightning with 102,000. Number 3 was Summerland with 38,000, and number 8 was The Wretched with 18,000. Number 9 was Relic with 10,000, and number 10 was Followed with 2,000.
The consistent ones at the drive-ins,
right?
They've been consistent.
Yeah, they've all been up there, man. Like they've been killing it. But now it is time for the IMDb Pro Top Trending segment. Oh man, you guys know. We love this app. It is literally the one-stop shop for all the entertainers out there. If you are an up-and-coming actor, writer, director, music producer, producer in general, fucking musician, like this is where you need to go to get all of your information.
Facts.
There's so much content. There's so much contacts. Like it's all about who you know and what you know, and literally you can get both of those things on this app.
It's true.
Definitely.
I mean, everything.
Yeah. The top trending movie is Dil Bircha. No idea.
No idea what it is either.
Like Dil Bircha, Betcha, something.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Why not?
Look it up on IMDb.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. The top trending TV show is The Umbrella Academy.
Yeah.
It does not surprise me. The second season just was released on Netflix.
Yep.
So be sure to check that out. And the top trending star is still Catherine Langford.
Yes.
For kicking ass.
Yeah,
always.
cursed and, wants to play Tony's adult daughter again, and she's just everywhere.
Yeah, man. Yeah. She's just fucking everywhere. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for getting a little crazy with us on episode 124 of Inside the Crazy Ant Farm. Be sure to follow our guest, Joshua Mikel, on all social media platforms. Thank you again, buddy, for taking time out of your day and getting a little crazy with us. It's so fun. So fun. Be sure to follow the company and the podcast on social media. The company is at Crazy Ant Media everywhere. The podcast is ItCaf Podcast everywhere.
Yes.
And of course, follow ourselves on social media. Myself at JLoFantastic and
Crazy Ant Guy 1970.
That's right. That's right. And be sure to subscribe to this podcast anywhere you listen to your podcast. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play Music, Anchor, iHeartRadio. And you can watch us on YouTube. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, ring that bell, do all those amazing YouTube things to stay up to date with us. I mean, we appreciate everybody with that. Our YouTube presence is definitely growing, so we appreciate all that good shit that is happening there. And of course, be sure to visit our website, crazyantmedia.com, where you can start rocking the latest and greatest Crazy Ant Media gear, new merch up all the freaking time. Be sure to head there now and start purchasing some amazing Crazy Ant items.
Definite.
Man, oh man. My favorite part of the show was probably Joshua Mikel's interview.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was so damn good. And I mean, the growth of just because, I mean, if everyone goes back and listens to the first time we had him on the show, he was kind of nervous, kind of like, in his box. But now, man, the growth that this guy has just come out of his shell and kicking ass in Atlanta and just making a name for himself, I'm really, happy that we have that connection.
Yeah, agreed. And I really enjoy guests who come on and have, thought-provoking conversation, you know, and he's always delivered on that. Just a very cool guy, man. Yeah. And I can't wait to, go have drinks with him.
Yeah, exactly.
It's gonna be a blast.
Oh, and also, fucking the Peacock is way cheaper than HBO Max, so I might just sign up to watch the Harry Potter movies and then fucking, bail.
And look, I can't say, I mean, obviously one of my favorite things that we talked about, without doubt, is the success of Disney Plus.
Yeah.
I mean, we predicted that we thought that they might be gunning for Netflix, and guys, with 65 million in 9 months, that is huge.
Yeah,
so that was exciting to talk about. So took a little dip, but Disney Plus, I think, is going to carry him through Corona.
I think so too. We talk about it all the time. Streaming is the future. Yep. It's all going to be streaming. I mean, probably going to be tentpole movies in the movie theaters, and it's really going to be interesting.
Now that law's gone, they'll tell you what movie theater you're going to see it in.
Exactly. But it's just always a great time. And you know who's our favorite person, and always a great person because she's the best.
And the only that matters.
That's right. Oprah!